Good morning, everybody. 8 o'clock. Sorry about yesterday. I was stranded. There was too much snow on the ground to drive and get my webcam and bring it home. So here I am today. We'll also be broadcasting tomorrow. So there'll be 2 days in a row. Generally, it's going to be a Tuesday and Thursday thing. But again, weather permitting, I'm in frigid Colorado after all. So sometimes the roads are just not worth traveling on. So today I've got some pretty cool exercises lined up for you. As always, we have 3 new warm-ups. We'll be introducing 3 warm-ups every episode. The warm-ups really are very, very good for building your technique. Then we're going to do some chord quizzes. Chord quizzes are really great. I'm going to be flashing some chords up on the screen, setting a timer. You guys, please answer down there in the chat. Then we're going to be sight reading a rhythm, as well as sight reading a melody in the 5th position. So get your guitar out and let's get ready. Of course, if you're a dojo member, hopefully you have the PDF printed off in front of you. Fretboard Dojo runs anywhere from $2 to $25 a month, whatever you want to donate to me, and then you can download the PDFs. Of course, I put a lot of effort into creating the content for this channel, so in order to download the PDFs, etc., you gotta feed the beast. So, without further ado, let's start warming up. Generally, the first warm-up of every episode is going to include a lot of arpeggiation of open strings, right? So this one's hiding my face, but you can see my hand, which is what's important here. Now, this hand is not involved at all in this warm-up. So just to very slowly go through this picking pattern, we're doing thumb, and then ring on the high E, middle, index. So thumb on the low E, ring, middle, index. And thumb on the A, ring, middle, index. Thumb on the D, ring, middle, index. And thumb on the A again. You'll see that that has a repeat at the end of that warm-up. After that, it gets a little trickier. Let me see if I can make this just a bit bigger for you guys to see. So then we get thumb on the low E, index on the G, thumb on the A, and then middle on the B. Thumb on the D, index on the G, thumb on the A, middle on the B. So we're going to be actually doing the 3 bass notes with the thumb, and then we're going to alter between middle and index on the G and B. Then in the next measure, we're going to alternate between the middle and ring on the B and E. After that, we're going to go ring, middle, and then middle, index. We're going to repeat that twice and end on a nice, long, low E. Good morning, Ton Rafa. I saw your awesome ukulele duet video. I encourage all of my viewers to check out Ton's cool recordings. He seems like a really awesome dude, and his ukulele playing is really coming along. If anybody else has anything to share, please put it in the link in the comments below. I'll check it out and give it a shout out. Okay, here we go, guys. We're doing thumb, ring, middle, index, thumb, ring, middle, index, thumb, ring, middle, index, thumb, ring, middle, index, repeat, ring, middle, index, thumb, ring, middle, index, thumb, ring, middle, index, thumb, ring, middle, index, thumb, index, thumb, middle, thumb, index, thumb, middle, thumb, ring, thumb, sorry, thumb, middle, thumb, ring, thumb, middle, thumb, ring, thumb, ring, thumb, middle, thumb, ring, thumb, middle, thumb, middle, thumb, index, thumb, middle, thumb, index, thumb, index, thumb, middle, thumb, index, thumb, middle, thumb, middle, thumb, ring, thumb, middle, thumb, ring, thumb, ring, thumb, middle, thumb, ring, thumb, middle, thumb, middle, thumb, index, thumb, middle, thumb, index. And then, of course, end on that low. All right, there's our first warm-up. Mr. Ton Rafa puts a unhappy face down in the chat. Well, why so unhappy? Okay, so let's do warm-up number 2. This one is for your left as well as right hand. You're going to be alternating between your index and middle finger here. I'm going to hide my face again behind the sheet music. There's only so much room on the screen, guys, and the exercises are a lot prettier than my face is. So We're going to be doing index and middle with this hand, or if you want to do just thumb, it doesn't. You can kind of pick and choose there. And as we move along, we're going to be crawling up the strings. But last time we did 1, 2, 3, 4 like this. This time it's 1, 3, 2, 4, 1, 3, 2, 4, 1, 3, 2, 4. And then when we get to the top, we're doing 4, 2, 3, 1, 4, 2, 3, 1. Oh, tears of joy. Very good. Very good, Todd. I thought you were sad for a second. I don't like making people sad, but I'm glad it's tears of joy. Okay, so here we go, guys. Here we go. We're going to start nice and slow, nice and slow. So we're doing index, third, second, pinky, 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 then pinky, second, third, index, 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 and just let it ring out. All right, there's our second warm-up, guys. I suggest you go through these multiple times. Print these out. If you are one of my awesome dojo members, of course, print these out and collect them and use these warm-ups more than just once. Next, we're diving in to another Mauro Giuliani right hand picking pattern. I love these guys. I really love these exercises, and I suggest everyone download the 120 right hand studies off of IMSLP and go through these. I'm going to run you through number 3. Tomorrow we're going to go on 4. Every day, every episode, we're going to be doing a new one. So this one, of course, starts with our C major chord, and then we switch to G7 in first inversion and back to C major. All of these Giuliani exercises use those 2 chords. Now the picking pattern here, thumb on the A, middle high E, index on the B. And then the thumb moves to the D, G, and back to A again. So we got thumb, da, da, thumb, da, da, thumb, da, da, thumb, da, da. And you switch, da, da, ba, da, ba, da, ba, da, ba, da, ba, da, 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 da. I do these very slow at first, and eventually you can do them quick, but not yet. Not yet. Just do them very slow. And of course, if I had done the repeat, I'm hitting that C major chord there at the end. Okay, guys, there are our 3 warm-ups. If you have any questions regarding these 3 warm-ups, please let me know. But now we're on to the music theory quiz portion of the lesson. Moving forward, I don't want to spend too much time on warm-up. So what I'm going to do here, guys, is I'm going to pop up some chords on the screen. Let me know if you guys are able to see these. I'm still used to I'm still getting used to, rather, the streaming software, and it looks like it's kind of messing up on me here. So let me just real quick cut it, bring it back. Doesn't seem to want to let me resize. Wonder why. All right, guys, this is kind of a small snippet up in the corner, but hopefully you can see it clearly. I'm going to set the timer for 1 minute. I want you guys to sit down and try and identify these. Notice that we have both first and fifth position here. Also, the very last chord, something to notice is that it's not as fully fleshed out as the other chords. It's only 3 notes, and it's also inversion. So, take your time, guys. Of course, if you need any more practice with this type of stuff, join the Fretboard Dojo. Interact with me directly. I'm trying to get the fretboard discussion to really go up in the members area, so I'm going to do some prompts here at the end. All right, we've got 20 more seconds for you guys to identify these chords, and then I'm going to show you where to play them, how to play them, and what the chord is called. So Tom Rafa has the first 2 chords correct. All right, guys, time is up. Time is up. So here we go. Our first chord is C major. We have our C, 3rd fret of the A, E, 2nd fret of the D, G, open. 1st fret of the B is C, and open high E. The second chord is G major. We have G, B, D, G, B, G in 1st position. The 3rd chord is D minor. The 5th chord is A minor. Okay, now we're moving to 5th position. It's really important to learn how to read your chords and sit in 5th position. Starting with A minor. You guys will notice this. I think it's the 4th shape. Yes, 4th shape. My bad. So we got root, 5th, 4th, 3rd, 3rd, 4th, right? I'm going to have an entire video coming out on these voicings. We did a little bit of that in some of the morning streams, but I just want you guys to name these and play them for now. So we have A minor. Next, we have F major. So we're going to be getting the 8th fret with our pinky, 7th fret of the D with the 3rd finger, so 8th fret of the A, 7th fret of the D. Index is going to the G string 5th fret. You're going to go ahead and actually bar it, get the 6th fret of the B and 5th fret of the high E, just like that. That's our F major. Next, we're getting D minor. So we have D here, 5th fret of the A, and then 7th fret of the D for the A, and then we have another D, 7th fret of the G, 6th fret of the B for the F, and then we're going to bar to get that A up top, 5th fret of the high E there. Next, we have a G major chord. You'll notice this is the 5th chord shape here. So we have G up to D, and then we have another G and a B up top. All right, so that's 5th of the D, 7th of the G, 8th of the B, 7th of the high E. All right, guys. The next chord, this is an incomplete chord as well. Well, not incomplete, but it's not as fleshed out, and it's also in an inversion. So we're starting, this is a D minor, by the way, and an inversion, so D, F, A. Of course, the notes are found in a different order here. We're starting with A, 5th fret of the low E. We're going up to F, which is the 8th fret of the A, and then we can catch our D here at the 7th fret of the G. It's a pretty chord. All right, guys, we're gonna move on to the next chord quiz. I see that we only have a couple people watching right now. Please invite your friends to this show. One thing about this show is I'm gonna see how successful it is. If in about 4 months I don't have 30 people watching at a time, I won't be doing it anymore. So invite your friends, please. All right, guys. This is 1st position and 5th position, just like the last one. I'm going to set the timer. You guys have 1 minute. 1 minute. Don is getting some good answers down there in the chat. Guys, please put your answers down in the chat. Finding and locating chords is super, super important. All right, we've got 35 seconds on the clock. 35 seconds on the clock. Some of these chords are not just triads this time around, guys. Some of them include extra notes. There's some 7 chords in here. All right, we are down to 15 seconds on the clock. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, done. All right, guys. All right, so let's take a moment. The first chord here is C major. This time we're 3rd fret of the A, open G, and open E. right? So this is still a C chord, but it's based off of this C chord, right? These chords are a little less fleshed out because I want you to see smaller shapes, because oftentimes we don't play all these gigantic chords on the guitar. We're playing smaller bits of them. Next, we have D minor in first inversion. Good job, Tom Rafa. All right. Then we have C, E, open B, and G. And if you listen, it's a nice jazzy chord, right? This is a C major 7 chord. Next, we have F, A, C, and open E. That's an F major 7 chord. It's that really nice, jazzy, kind of ethereal sound. One of my favorite chords. And then after that, we have plain old D minor. Right, so the D minor in first inversion, that second chord was third, second, third from the D, G, and B strings, right? We had third of the A, second of the D, open B, third of the high G for that C major 7. The F major 7, third of the D, second of the G, first of the B, open E. By the way, guys, if you are struggling to get these in time, you can always pause the video. So we have D, open D, second fret of the G for the A, third fret of the B, and first fret of the high E for our D minor there. Next, we're looking at the 5th position chords here. The first of the 5th position chords is an A minor chord, and it's from that A minor chord from last time, but except we're only taking 3 notes this time. So we're grabbing 5th of the low E, 7th of the A, and then we're going to get 5th of the G. There. Next is another D minor chord, the low note being F. We're going up to D, 7th, so 8th of the A, 7th of the G, and 5th of the high E. This next chord is going to take us a little bit out of 5th position to grab this B back here, right? But we have low B, 7th of the low E, and then we have 5th of the G and 5th of the D and 4th of the G for a G major chord, and we're going to say that's in first inversion. All right, so next we have just a plain bar for an A minor chord from the G to the high E. Right? That is an A minor chord in first inversion. After that, we have E, G, and C, so that's a C major chord in first inversion. We're getting the 7th of the A, 5th of the G, or 5th of the D and G together. Looks like Tom Rafa's getting these answers all correct. Everybody else watching, get some of this. Type your answers down in the chat. That's the whole point of this show. The whole point of this show is so that you guys show up and we go through a bunch of exercises to make you better musicians that happen to play guitar, right? If you guys want somebody to show how do I manage the arch on my fingers? You know, Urbano, it really comes down to really getting a feel for your fretboard. I mean, I've been touching a fretboard for a very long time, and the arch of my fingers is actually managed more by where my pressure comes from. And my pressure really comes from my arm more so than anything else. Sometimes I will push my arch into the fretboard like that. Sometimes I'll have it like this. There are so many different ways to get the arch on your fingers to work correctly. And nobody's hand is exactly the same. But as a general rule of thumb, the thumb should be right about here. And your fingers should have a nice curve to them so you're on the very tip. All right, everybody. We're going to move on to our rhythm sight reading. I'm going to give you guys 1 more minute to clap this. Remember, this rhythm stuff, we're not playing it on the guitar. We're just clapping it. That's all we're doing. Just want to clap it. Because sometimes worrying about the fretboard too much makes it hard to learn how to clap rhythm. So this one's in 3/4. And it includes 16th notes this time around. Sorry, I had the timers now. So be careful of those 16th notes. I'm going to let you guys look at this. Keep trying to clap this. We have just under 30 seconds on the clock, and then I will show you how to clap this. These clapping rhythms, by the way, guys, they are so important. They really are just about everything in terms of building up your musical ability for sight reading and playing. If it's not in here, it's not going to be here, right? Okay, guys, time is up for the sight reading on clapping. So I'm going to give you guys a count in. Of course, this is in 3/4, so we have 3 beats. We have 16th notes. Remember, there are 2 16th notes to each 8th note, and there's quite a bit of syncopation in this one, guys. So if you don't get it the first time around after the show's done, hit repeat a number of times. And of course, my dojo members can download the PDF, and they'll have a new one of these every PDF to sit there and master. It's also fun to try and pluck your string to the rhythm. Okay, guys, 1, 2, 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and a 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and a 2 and 3 and 1 and 2. There it was. I'm going to give it to you guys one more time. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and 3. And a 1, and 2, and 3, and 1, and a 2, and 3, and 1, and 2. All right. There's the rhythm clapping. That tends to be a pretty challenging thing. So take your time with it, guys. Next, we're moving on to the regular old sight reading. This is going to be in the 5th position, guys. We're reading a melody in 5th position. Thank you for joining us, Urbano. Come back another time. I'll be here every Tuesday and Thursday. Yesterday was a snow day, so today's a little different. All right, guys, 5th position here. I'm going to bring the timer up onto the screen, and I'm going to give you guys 1 minute to try and read through this, and then I'm going to explain to you how to play it. All right, guys, we have 15 seconds on the clock. Yes, I agree, Angie. These rhythms are just, I have an entire book of rhythms that I went through when I went to music school, and I gotta say, separating the rhythm from the guitar so that you can eventually put them back together is a really good idea. So this sight reading exercise is in the key of F major, so we're going to be using the F major scale. Next, we're in 5th position, so that's what makes this kind of tough. Let me run you through kind of where each note goes, and then we're going to just play it kind of roughly, and then move on to my personal favorite part, the composition side of things. Okay, guys, so we're starting with an F, which we find on our 8th fret here. And we're going up an octave, and that brings us to the 6th fret of the B, down to E, 5th fret of the B, and then we're going to do 7th of the G for that D, and then we're going to go back up to the E, D, C, down to the 5th fret, and then our B flat, be aware of that key signature, B flat is the 8th fret of the D, and then we go down to the A. And we go back to F, E, D, and then we get a G, which is our 5th fret. I just kind of lay a quick bar there. And then we have E, D, C, and then we get low E, and then D, C, B flat, and then jump your pinky down to that 8th fret, and then we have D, C, B flat, and we're going to get F and A at the same time, which is our 8th and 7th frets of the A and D, respectively. So we get 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Okay. All right. So we are going to move on to my favorite part of this. I want you guys to send any questions because, of course, I answer questions at the very end. Well, thank you, Tom Rafa. That's very nice of you to say. He says I remind him of his friend from Pakistan. He used to work together, and said that both of us are very kind. Well, thank you, Tom. I appreciate that. Um, you know, the world's a great place to be, and if I can spread some music education, then I'm very happy to. Um, this type of information has spent too much time in the universities and not enough time out in the public so that everybody can get this information. So I'm very, very glad to be doing this work. Okay, guys, we're going to go to the composition template. On the screen, you will see our chord progression for the day. Now, I want to do something more rhythm-based than anything. I've picked out the first bass note. And actually, let me go ahead and change that voicing real quick, just for the software's sake. Today, I really just want to do more of a kind of a rhythm comping type of thing. I don't, you know, the last live stream, I was trying to get into some melodies and stuff like that, and I came up with a better format for melodies and things. But I really do want to keep these videos between 30 to 40 minutes long. That seems to be the best for both me and the audience. So we're going to just be playing these as if they're kind of rhythm, and we're going to be using, of course, our fingers to play that rhythm. I don't teach a lot of flat picking type of stuff. So we're in the key of A major here, which means all F, C's, and G's are sharp. We're starting with our 1 chord, which is, of course, A major. Now, what I want to do is I want to do a little bit of a thumb bass line. So we're going to outline that first, and then we're going to fill in the chords next. So if we're doing a 1 chord and it's in root invert and root position, then that means A is in the bass. But next we have a 2-6, which means our 2nd chord, but it's in first inversion, right? So that's going to mean actually our bass note is a D, because our 2 chord's B minor. Now, next we're doing 5-7 of 5. 5-7 of 5. That's a very interesting thing. And if you've seen my hour-long music theory video, this will probably be familiar. We haven't talked too much about borrowed chords in these live streams. But basically what a 5-7 of 5 is you take the 5 of your current key and you borrow the 5 from that key. So the 5 of our current key is E. And as it so happens, the 5-7 of that key is a B7 chord, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to put a B here down in our bass note, and it's going to end up including the D sharp from the key of E, and we'll notate that in a few minutes. But essentially, that's a 5-7 of 5, that type of sound in this key. And then, of course, we go to 5 after that, so it's going to be an E. And I'd like to use the E that's on our D string. So there's our bass line there for the first part of our piece. So next what we need to do is fill in the chords above that. So the chords above that, we're going to start with the A major. And I kind of want to stick with kind of your index, middle, and ring on your G, B, and E strings. So we have thumb for the A, and then we're just going to use quarter notes. So 2, 3, 4. Now, by the way, guys, when you go through this exercise, I'm just kind of drudging up chords for you. You guys are more than welcome to steal every chord progression off of this channel and use it for yourself. I didn't make up the concept of chords. These chords don't belong to me. So if you guys at the end of the show say, hey, I want to doctor that up and spruce it up a little bit for myself, do it. And by all means, you guys can keep the credit for yourself. Please steal these chord progressions is what I'm saying. Please use them to write some music. So I'm going to put a quarter note rest here. And we're just going to be doing quarter notes here, more for the sake of time than anything. Let me know what you guys think about the chord progression at the end. I'd like to use primarily the G, B, and E strings for your index, middle, and ring finger. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to put together an A major chord, and one of the easier ways to do that in this position is to say, I'm going to grab A, C sharp, and E, right? And you can actually, you can actually do that fairly easy in this position. So there's our first chord. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. So let me switch my camera on so that you guys can see where my fingers are. So we're doing second fret of the A, second fret of the B, and open high E, and the thumb is going to grab the open A string. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Next we got to move to the 2 in first inversion. So of course the 2 is a B minor chord, and that chord is going to have a D in the bass, right? So let's worry about our notes that we don't have yet in this chord. So of course, if we're sticking to the G, B, and E strings, we want a B, which we can get on either our open B or the 4th fret of the G. Now I'm going to suggest getting the 4th fret of the G. For our D, you're going to get, actually let me put a rest here to make sure that the voices are kept track of. 2, and then our rest above there. So we're going to get 4th of the G for this B, and then 3rd of the B for the D, and then we're going to get another F sharp up above there on 2nd fret of the high E. So we get. So overall, and then we're going to move to our 5/7 of 5. 5/7 of 5. And the way I'd like to play that is a bar on the 2nd fret. Let me change that voice to the 2nd voice. Let's make that into there. Okay, and then we're going to get bar on the 2nd fret, so we have an A, and we're going to get D sharp. D sharp, guys. The reason we're getting D sharp is because we're borrowing this from the key of E major. This is a 5/7 of 5. This is a B7 chord, right? We're actually picking this chord to make us feel more at home when we get back to the 5. So if we're coming from this B minor, and then we get a bar on the 2nd, and then what I want to do is just go to a nice, easy E major chord there in first position. So let's go ahead and notate that, and then I'm going to show you guys exactly how to play this. So then we're going to move on to the 2nd line. Let me know if you guys, let me know if I'm going too fast. Of course, this is only episode 3 of this show, and I need you guys to help me to know what I'm supposed to do. Like if I'm going too fast, sometimes it seems like I'm going slow to me, and it seems like to you guys, it's like I'm going fast, or vice versa. So let me know how you guys like the pace. So now you guys can see my hands and everything. We have our open A, and then the 2nd frets of the G and B, and open A, da, 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 and we're going to open D, and we're getting a 4th, 3rd, and 2nd. And then we're going to bar the 2nd fret and get our pinky on that D sharp, which is the 4th fret of the B. And then we're going to get the 2nd fret of the D for our E major. Now, of course, this is something you guys can you can do all kinds of finger picking. Sorry for any mistakes. Again, this is live. I don't practice any of this stuff, so you guys are going to see me make a couple of mistakes, which I'm totally cool with. So there's our first line. Now we're moving back to the 2nd line. And what I would like to do with the 2nd line, let me go ahead and pull up the screen again. What I would like to do with the 2nd line is actually just repeat these first 2 measures verbatim, which is not a super rare thing to do. But you'll notice that the 2 is actually changed. Actually, let me undo that. So we have our 1, and then we get a 2-6-4 rather than a 2-6. So the 6-4 means that we have an interval of a 6th and a perfect 5th above the bass, meaning that we have the 5th in the bass, and this being an B minor chord, that means our F sharp. Right, so our bass line is actually going to change here. And after that 2-6-4, we're going to get a 1-6-4, a 5-7, and a 1. So bonus points to anybody that can tell me what kind of cadence that is. Put it in the chat if you know, and I'll let you know once we finish filling out the line. So next, we're going to put in our bass line here. This is our F sharp. Let me just double check that my screen hasn't frozen on you guys. Okay, good. So after that F sharp, we're going to get a 1-6-4, which is our, anybody? G. And in fact, let's bring this F sharp down here, just for a more interesting voice leading. Then we get G again for our 5-7, and then our 1, of course, and end on A. And actually, guys, sorry, I went into space case land there. We need an E for our 1-6-4. I was thinking about C for a second, and then we're our E again. Okay, sorry, my brain switched to the key of C major for a moment, and it happens. So, F sharp down in the bass, 2-6-4, but we're still going to keep the same bass note, or the same notes up top. Now, this F sharp in the bass is going to move to an E. It's not supposed to sound super stable, right? And when we get to 1-6-4, it sounds like it fits, but it's not quite, because we really want to get to that 5-7, and then we're going to move to our 1 again. So if we're to fill this in, let's go ahead and bring our next voice in. Let's make it a rest, and then let's go ahead and fill in our B, D, F sharp. Our 1-6-4, we're just going to go back to what we had before. A, C sharp, and E up top, but this time the bass, though, is that low E, giving us our second inversion 1. And then our 5-7, we're just going to do G sharp, and we're going to get a D in an E, right? Because this has to be a 5-7. 5-7 of this key is E7, which includes that minor 7th above the bass, our D. So let me go ahead and fill these in properly so that we have the right rests and everything. And then we're going to play it. And if we go back to that 1 chord again, of course, we don't need to use a different voicing than what we've used today. Again, today is more about, let's figure out what these chords are. How do we actually go through a little bit of composition? How can we write? How can we improvise? This is how you do it, guys. So there's an entire chord progression. That second line, we get A major, our 1, 2 in second inversion, getting us that low F sharp, then 1-6-4, 5-7, back to 1. Okay, so there's our little composition exercise for the day. Nice and short, nice and short. Now I'm going to take me a moment to take a look at the questions here, and then we're going to finish up, and hopefully you guys can take this chord progression and turn it into something else. If you guys do, by all means, post the video down below. I'll give you guys a shout out. And Tom Rafa posted some really cool videos for us to watch, and he's coming along very, very well. His playing is very, very nice, so I want to see more people play. So by all means, please post some videos using this. Okay, so let's go through some of these questions. Drummer in the Park, how you doing? Drummer in the Park, we're actually in A major, but we could do this in F sharp minor. The thing that gave it away that we're in A major was that the 1 had an uppercase Roman numeral. That's the big giveaway there. And of course, they are, they're relative keys, so relative major and minor, so good there. And it looks like that's all of the questions. You guys have any more questions for me? Again, I apologize for any brain slips that I have in these or any mistakes that you see live. These are live streams after all. So Angie says she's going to upload a video for us sometime soon. Angie, please, that would be awesome. One of the reasons to learn to play music is so that you can share it with people. And one thing I like to stress on everybody is just do your best. There are so many great guitar players out there that everybody's technical ability, though everyone should increase their technical ability as much as possible. Um, it's just better to present yourself as who you are and where you're at, and people will enjoy it. I mean, I I'm a huge believer that you should just present yourself where you're at, and in general, people are going to be supportive. And if people are not supportive, I mean, this is YouTube. There are people that are going to be mean, but they're just awful if they do that. So there's no reason to worry about it. Ton, you can share this link anywhere you want. Again, guys, if I come up with a chord progression on this show that you like, steal it. It's yours. I don't own chords. All of this stuff. This is all public. You can share this information anywhere you want. For my dojo members, if you download the PDFs, I don't care if you give the PDFs to your friends. Print them off, give them out. It doesn't matter to me. Everything here is public domain. I'm not copywriting any of it. I don't care about anything like that. The purpose of this show is to spread free education. Looks like that's all the questions for the day. So good job today, guys. I'm going to see you guys tomorrow morning. Generally, this is a Tuesday and Thursday show, but yesterday was a snow day. I am in frigid Colorado, so I had to put it off till this morning. So I don't know if I'll be at home or in the office tomorrow, but most likely here at home. Happy practice, everyone. And by all means, if you want to get those PDFs, sign up for the dojo memberships. You can see the links below. It's anywhere from $2 to $25, and every payment level gives you the same thing. So I want to make it really accessible to as many people as I can, and definitely share the channel, help me grow, and we'll keep at it. Have fun, guys.